I'm Sarah Barlow, and I'm a musician, also a singer and songwriter. I perform at Antone's. I perform around Austin and travel, playing gigs, and also promote like wellness for musicians. And yeah, I just songwrite, and I'm working on more recordings. So. Well, why not, right? What's not to love? Everybody loves the blues, you know? And, well, not everybody, but it speaks to most people, you know what I mean? Like, most people can relate to the blues. And to me, in that way, like, the first time I heard the blues, I was really young. It's one of the first kind of genres that I felt like it was something I could connect to, because you know, the blues, like the artists, the legends, you know, you could just hear it in their voice, and then it's so simple, but there's so much in there, you know? And so I just felt like, to me, I connect with it at a soul level, so it feels very like part of me, and then also like kind of healing, you know, because well, one of my favorite songs is like the blues, The Healer, you know, by John Lee Hooker. And I just love that because he talks about it, you know. The blues will heal you, you know. And a lot of the other blues guys say that, you know. The only way to cure the blues is to play the blues, so. Yeah, my influences, I mean, early on I listened to a lot of blues and jazz, and like Bessie Smith, like a lot of that kind of stuff, you know, pre-war, and like almost the jazz, you know, kind of stuff. And I was really into obviously Robert Johnson and Memphis Minnie and stuff. And then I started getting into like the Antone's women, you know, and I was working with Clifford. And then he kind of introduced me more to like Irma Thomas, who I actually met, you know, and back when I was 18. I took a trip with Clifford to meet her, so she's like one of my main idols. And Barbara Lynn, you know, obviously she's a badass, because she's also a songwriter and plays guitar, you know, left-hand guitar, and inspiration. I mean, there's so many, you know, but yeah, I really love like Ann Peebles, and even getting into more of the funk, like Betty Davis. But I also play a lot of like Eddie Taylor and, you know, those guys, because I like kind of keeping that in the mix and drawing from that, and, you know. Yeah, my first introduction to like the blues was really, you know, my grandparents' records, and especially my grandpa. He actually knew Clifford before the club opened. He was a big blues fan. So they had all the vinyl, you know, and he had like original Arhoolie records. And so some of the first artists I heard was Lightnin' Hopkins, of course. And I was just so fascinated by, you know, his voice and his, so, you know, his songwriting. And I was like, whoa. And then the other one was Man's Lipscomb, which I really love, you know. And I think I heard like Howlin' Wolf as well, you know, Muddy. But those old blues, you know, the earlier guys, and less of the electric. I was listening to more of the, you know, kind of like a slide and bottleneck, you know. And then, but also my grandpa loved, you know, Albert Collins and Albert King and all, you know, everybody. So he had all the records blasting, and so. Right on. But you know, I was like, go to school, and I was like, oh, like, do you know Man's Lipscomb, like in class? No. Yeah. Britney Spears. Like.
Yeah, for sure.
I usually add in a lot of like the influences that I was kind of mentioning, like a lot of the Antone's, you know, performers, especially like Llewellyn Barton and Angela Straley covers. And I also cover a lot of like Eddie Taylor, you know, type of stuff. And I try to get blues that are, to me, like a lot of stuff I worked on like when I was younger with Clifford. And that made such a huge, you know, like kind of influence on the type of blues I like the different, you know, artists and stuff. So I always put all those in like Junior Wells or something. And then I'm actually getting ready to record my album, so I'm put in some of my own original songs, you know, in the set as well. To me, it's like there's so much history here. Obviously, starting with there's always blues in Austin, you know, on the east side. Like some of the original blues guys came here, and so I mean, they're in Dallas, you know, they're everywhere. But Austin was like another place where those blues guys could make a living, you know, and that's why Austin became popular for musicians, because they could come down here and they can get gigs, you know. So I guess like growing up here, it's like I know all this history, you know, and my grandparents were, you know, blues fans, and they were in like the Austin scene, and then I worked with Clifford, and so I have all this knowledge and all this. To me, like I'm super passionate about it, you know, and I grew up here, and I feel like part of it, you know, it's just kind of like the blues is like the soundtrack of Austin, and then you have the honky tonk is like the other, you know. But it's what I love about the blues being in Austin is that the musicians have kind of preserved it, you know. They preserve the history and the culture, and also allow, you know, kind of pass on that knowledge to other musicians who are like, who want to invest in it, you know. So they see some kind of like a young up and coming artist who's interested in the history. A lot of the musicians kind of are open to like inviting them in, mentor them, you know, and there's so many, so there's never any one scene that it doesn't really like, you know, you can kind of go over here and work with other musicians, go over here, and everybody eventually works with each other. And that's one thing that I love about the Austin music scene, but also the blues scene, is we're like kind of a big extended family.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, and you can always come back here and play a gig. You know, you could travel and come back.
Sure.
It's still going on. You know, the residencies, the clubs like Antone's. Yeah. You know, you got people like keeping it going. The history. That's you got Sea Boys. You know, Continental Club. Yeah. So, to me, it feels like home. Yeah, I feel like people can go to see the blues artists who are local, like the local performers in the Austin music scene, of course, but like the Austin blues scene. There's so many talented musicians and performers, and the other thing is they're also writing their own songs. So that's what's really cool, is like, you know, go to their shows, check out their music, and then like support their music, and also like especially their original works that they're putting on, like their albums and stuff, because that's what keeps the artists going. And I feel like the blues scene, like there's generations of it, you know. There was like the Antone's generation that like kind of started the club, and then they passed on, you know. But now there's so many new people in Austin, but they just don't know as much about what's happening, right? Because there's so many things happening. So one of the best things they could do is like, you know, follow Antone's nightclub, follow Sea Boys, go to the main blues clubs, check out the local bands, you know, that are playing, and then they can try to come out every week and support them.